Now, first story, scores of litigants, lawyers and police prosecutors on Friday got stranded at courts across the country as staff of the Judicial Service began their nationwide strike despite the caution by the Labour Relations Minister that the action is illegal. The workers are protesting failure of government to consolidate their salaries and pay outstanding allowances. Here are some stranded litigants here in Accra.
I heard it yesterday night on radio. But I decided to come and then have a look at it, whether it is true or not. It has affected me a lot. Why? Because I'm here purposely because of my land case. And the case is supposed to be proceeding today, hearing today. So, in fact, it has affected me a lot because today, so far as they are on strike, I don't know when they are coming back. And even if they are on strike, the gate's supposed to be open and then a date has to be fixed for us. But nothing. So I don't know my whereabouts now. If the government knows that actually it was because of their salary, then the law enforcement have to do something about it. And then the government is supposed to solve their problem for them.
I've been affected in so many ways because I should have been at my office at now. Now I'm here. I knew this case was going to come off, and I got here and I've been told the workers are on strike, so I don't know what is happening. I have to get back to my council and then see what be the next step. If it's affected by strikes and all this, it means that the case is going to still prolong. And that means that you are going to spend more money to get justice served.
I came here around 8:30. The case is supposed to be heard at 10. And I just came to meet everybody standing outside. And it appears nothing is going to happen. My greatest concern is I don't get anybody to talk to, and I don't know when we are supposed to come back again. I have to take the day off because of this case. Now I don't know what to do because in my schedule for the day, I'm supposed to be on this case. And even if I knew that this case was not coming on, I would have known what to do later for the rest of the day.
Now, the situation has not been very different in other parts of the country. Let's speak to correspondent Ivy Setoji from the Volta region, who had quite an interesting experience in the Volta regional capital. Good evening to you, Ivy. What can you tell us about the situation at the courts today?
Hello?
Hello, Ivy.
Yeah.
Yes, what has been your experience at the courts today?
It was very interesting. I went round today and then trying to see if the workers were really working. But I realized that some of them were at the court premises, just sitting down, and some of them were not able to come when I interacted with them. What they told me was they are on strike. So if you like, you can come to the court and sit down. If you like, you can be at home. But what some of the litigants told me was they drove them away from the court premises because they were on strike. And so they were disappointed at them because some of them had to come all the way from far places like the northern Volta and far the southern Volta to central, that's the whole, just to come to the court for them to be disappointed because of the strike. And these people are saying that they don't even have access to internet, and some of them don't have light where they are, so they could not monitor what was going on. They did not know there was a strike, so that was why they came and they left disappointed. So that was the experience this morning.
All right, thank you very much, Ivy Setoji, reporting from the Volta Regional Capital. We also have on the line now Alex Nate. He's the president of the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana. Good evening to you, Mr. Nate.
Good evening, sir.
All right, has there been any movement at all as far as your strike is concerned?
No, there hasn't been any move as far as we are concerned, but we have embarked upon an indefinite strike. So we persist with our strike.
Which strike the Labour Relations Minister says is illegal?
We do not expect him to say any other thing apart from what he said. but we do not agree with him. Beyond what he said, he cannot prove to anybody that we have embarked upon an illegal strike. We of USAC will not do any such thing. The last thing we will do is to declare an illegal strike. We have since 2015, even before the Judicial Council submitted our recommended salaries to the President, made our position clear to the Honorable Minister when we carried out an industrial action over an unpaid allowance. When we met him, we made it clear that the only way that we could avert and curtail this kind of industrial actions in the judicial service is to consolidate our salaries, and that it was pending before the Judicial Council, and as soon as it was ready, we will need his cooperation to achieve that. And so immediately in June, when Judicial Council eventually approved our proposals, the Honorable Lady Chief Justice forwarded the recommended consolidated salaries to the President. After the submission to the President, I led the leadership of USAC to meet the Labor Relations of Minister many times, not less than 15 times since last year, June. The Chief Justice herself led the Judicial Council to the office of the President on the same thing. And beyond that, USAC also met the Chief of Staff. We waited for 9 months, which, fell in April this year, and we issued an ultimatum. When we issued an ultimatum, we expected that government will act on our, demands. Government did not, and instead of recognizing the work of the Judicial Council, government bypassed the Judicial Council and set up a presidential committee contrary to constitutional provisions. We raised an objection, but Honorable Minister Haruna came to us and said that, don't worry, let's go through it. So we acceded. When we submitted to that committee sitting, we met on 8th April. We did our presentation to them, and they asked for just 1 week. My brother, that was all. They did not call us again until yesterday when we declared a strike.
All right.
But when we realized that they were not calling us, we issued notice to all stakeholders, including the Labor Commission, the Honorable Minister himself, the Chief of Staff, the Chief Justice, the Judicial Secretary, the Minister of Finance, recognizing the relevant provisions under Act 651 of 2003, the Labor Act. And so anybody who has made an attempt to declare our strike an illegal perhaps has not checked his or her records properly.
All right, Mr. Nate, just hold on for me here. Now, the Labor Relations Minister, we spoke to him yesterday, and he's indicating that even though you say, despite you are saying that nothing much has happened, but some work is being done in the background. Let's listen to him, and then I'll come to you.
First is to appeal to them that under the labor laws of Ghana, we have to deal with each other on good faith and to share as much information as possible. Refer to Act 815. They have failed to do so. And I'm saying that to say that nothing has happened, 2 meetings have been held with the government team with USAC, and recommendations have been made based on the approval of the Judicial Council. But the Constitution says with the prior approval of the President. The President requested a committee chaired by Atu Forson to examine it and advise him. That recommendation have gone to the President, and JUSAC is aware that we are awaiting the President's approval.
All right, so Mr. Nate, as you heard the Labour Relations Minister, it says you're aware that they are awaiting the approval of the President.
I didn't hear any of the things that he said because the voice was very bad.
All right, essentially what he's saying is that there have been meetings and 2 meetings have taken place and you're aware and that they've submitted some recommendations to the President and they are waiting the...
You can call him and find out from him now whether he has any notice to me that something is going on. He has not informed me of any such thing. You see, when
But did you check with him before you decided to embark on this latest strike?
Yes. What I'm saying is that we would not maltreat any law in this country. And that all that they are saying is just a ploy to present us in bad light. But we have not done anything wrong.
Mr. Nate, what will make you call off the strike?
Well, we have exhausted all negotiations with the Judicial Council, and the Judicial Council, made up of legal brains, look at our proposals and are telling government that the salaries submitted to government are the salaries that must be paid to the Judicial Service. What else? If the Chief Justice, the Attorney General, Nana SKB Asante, Mr. Ajimai, Brigadier General Edward Fiawo, and all the legal brains have looked at constitutional provisions regarding our pay, and they have made recommendations to government, who else thinks that he must alter it or must do something contrary? And so we think that the right thing has been done. What we need is government presidential assent, and until we see an approval, we are not coming back.
All right. Thank you very much, Alex Nate. Alex Nate is the president of the Judicial Service Staff Association of Ghana. He was speaking to us about the latest strike, which they're saying they're persisting until something is done about their consolidated salaries. You're watching Joy News Prime. We're taking a break. When we come back, we have more stories. Stay tuned. Now, personnel of the Police Special Weapons and Tactics Unit in Kumasi have been mourning the demise of their colleague who was shot by armed robbers at Denchemboso. Corporal Frank Essel suffered multiple shots on both sides of his ribs at an open space in front of a hotel Thursday night. Correspondent Oheming Teria joins me via telephone with more on this. Good evening to you, Oheming. The very latest we're hearing is that the police have placed a bounty on the head of the robbers. Tell us more about that. Hello, Oheming. Hello, Oheming. Hello, Oheming. Hello, Oheming. If you're on the line, tell us more about the police placing a bounty on the head of these robbers who shot and killed one officer in Kumasi. All right, we'll try and re-establish contact with Oheming, but moving on to other stories now. Residents of Germany and nearby communities along the Volta Lake in the South Day district of the Volta region are calling for the immediate exit of naval officers from their communities. According to the residents, who are mostly fisherfolk, the presence of the Navy in their communities has become a curse rather than a blessing, as they are being molested and brutalized by the officers. The residents are threatening to boycott the November elections if the officers are not evicted. Joy News' Fred Kwame Asari was in the community and filed this report. Right, we'll bring you that story later, but we have Oheming back on the line, and he's going to be telling us about the death of one police officer, or the one police officer who was shot by suspected armed robbers at Denchem Boso. Corporal Frank Essel suffered multiple shots on both sides of his ribs at an open space in front of a hotel on Thursday night. Good evening to you once again, Ohiming Teria. Now, what's the very latest on this incident? We're told that the police has placed a bounty on the head of the suspected robbers. Tell us more about that.
Yes, Israel, the Corporal Essel's colleagues in the office, those are the special welfare units in Kumasi. They have been mourning the shock demise of their colleagues at the regional headquarters. I saw police officers weeping uncontrollably as their colleagues try to help them overcome the situation. So for police officers or personnel at the SWAT unit in Kumasi, it's been a day of mourning for them. And as I spoke to their commander, Superintendent Christopher Flomega, he actually indicated that indeed personnel have been demoralized by the shock demise of Corporal Essel. And in the family house of Corporal Essel, I tried to speak to the wife, but unfortunately that could not happen because the wife has been in a very bad mood. And she has been in a very bad mood, making it impossible to speak to the media. Israel.
Right, Ohiming, how did this happen?
Come again, Israel.
How did it happen?
Yes, yesterday, according to the unit commander, Superintendent Christopher Flomega, Essel reported for work on evening duty, and as a driver, he was supposed to drive personnel for their night patrol duties. But unfortunately, his vehicle developed a mechanical fault, so that gives him a leeway to have his own way. So he also, in the process, took his private Benz vehicle and left for the hotel, I'm told. And that is when he entered the hotel. The armed robbers have already ambushed the two workers who were on duty and have made them to lie on the floor. So immediately the police officer entered the hotel. The hotel is called Open Space Hotel at the Mossy in Kumasi. They opened fire on him. Unfortunately, he did not have the opportunity to open or get out of his vehicle, but he died behind the steering wheel in the premises of the hotel. So after he has been killed, the robbers, three of them with masks covering their faces, left the premises of the hotel after also succeeding in shooting one of the hotel staff in the shoulder. So as we speak now, the staff who was shot in the process is receiving treatment at the Confirmatory Hospital. Has been told that he is responding to treatment.
Right, thank you very much, Ohiming Teria, joining us from Kumasi. The Nigerian High Commission in Ghana has refuted claims that one evangelist vandal who was involved in the just-ended limited voter registration exercise at Tema is a Nigerian. According to the High Commissioner, findings of an investigation they conducted revealed there is no truth to the claims by both the media and the police. She addressed a news conference in Accra.
32-year-old man Evangelist Vandal, alleged to be a Nigerian, was arrested by the Tema Police Divisional Command a couple of weeks ago for taking part in the limited voter registration exercise organized by the Electoral Commission. His arrest comes after a lady reported to Tema Community 1 police for her missing mobile phone on 9th May this year. The police, as part of investigations, arrested Vandal, who was the key suspect on 12 May 2016. The suspect had an indelible mark on the forefinger of the left hand, which raised the suspicion. He admitted having taken part in the just-ended limited voter registration exercise at Kwesi Planch Electoral Area at Community 1, where he resides with his accomplice, Solomon Kpakpo Ado, as his guarantor during the registration. But according to the acting Nigeria High Commissioner, Adekunbi Sonaike Ayodeji, this is a case of mistaken identity because the suspect is not in their database. Madam Adekunbi also told the press the police have failed to provide evidence backing his claims.
The person in question has also admitted that he is not a Nigerian. So if I'm going to ask evidence, I would have loved to say that he might have said he's a Nigerian. Then let me have some documents on you that point you to a Nigerian. But he is saying that he is not a Nigerian. The evidence could be that on his own, which may be required, give us something concerning your nationality as a Ghanaian or any other nationality. But the fact still remains that from my own point of view, the way we make interrogation, we ask people that says that they are Nigerians, they do not have the document. Which of the local governments are you from? You don't need the evidence. If he cannot substantiate, because we all have our native and dialects that we can easily say, this is a particular person from this area. And when that could not, we could also ask a Nigerian to speak the language the person is claiming to have. So all these are not necessarily written documents, and they don't need to be evidential document. It's a matter of confirming that this is a person from this particular community or this particular state. And in this case, the man Mimi insisted he is not a Nigerian. Neither has the Ghana police provided evidence to validate the claim in the report.
She urged the media to be circumspect in their reportage in sensitive matters such as these, which has the tendency of generating into conflicts.
Up next, we bring you business news. Please stay tuned. It's time for business, and Imalo Bajiriafe will bring us all the
details.
Facts and figures.
Of course.
Good evening.
Good evening to you.
All right, what's coming up?
Well, for some time now, the bears, the Ghana Stock Exchange has been recording poor performance, and obviously it's due to the macroeconomic conditions in the country, which have been highlighted by the boss of the GSE.
All right, so what's he advising at this moment?
Well, his advice is that during these periods or periods of low prices of the various equities, investors need to rather take advantage, buy more, because definitely it's kind of a volatile environment. It will definitely
rise. The stocks will
exactly.
rise, so that when it rises, you can make a killing.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining me on business. And CEO of the Ghana Stock Exchange, Kofi Yamwa, has indicated the current poor performance of the Ghana Stock Exchange is as a result of unfavorable macroeconomic conditions. In an exclusive interview with Joy Business, Kofi Yamwa mentioned high inflation and high interest rates as having impacted negatively on trading at the stock exchange.
Take a look at the macro fundamentals. It has not been beneficial to the market as a whole in terms of attracting investors into the market and as well as issuers. So on the macroeconomic front, the challenges have come. In 2015, we also had the difficulty of the energy crisis, which fortunately has been essentially resolved at the end of 2015. So hopefully that will not negate the activities of the market going forward. But if you take a broad look at the macroeconomic environment, it has really impacted negatively on this market. That has also been exacerbated by the fact that towards the last part of 2015, some tax issues came up. And that was not conducive to the investing public, particularly the matter of capital gains tax being taken away. We've made cases to the tax authorities, the Ministry of Finance, and we hope that at the end of it all, they will see reason with us in terms of the fact that it is for the benefit of the market, to grow the market, and so forth. The status quo needs to be considered and resorted to. That aside, we've not seen listings in 2016 as we had expected. We had expected that at least the prolonged ADB listing process would have ended or culminated in the first quarter of 2016, but another event has cropped up. We'll speak to that shortly. So it hasn't helped the market as far as, one, the macroeconomic environment, some of the issues surrounding tax. In 2015, for the year 2015, the market was down about 12%. That is far from the positive, albeit small, that was recorded in 2014 of about 5-6%. 2016 up to April thereabout, we are negative territory of about 8%. And like I said, it is a reflection of what we're going through. But the key thing for investors is that this market essentially should be seen as the long haul. And so once we've seen some of the companies recovering, especially the manufacturing sector, from the severe energy difficulties of 2015, if they're in for the long haul, then we should see performance rebounding. Hopefully, the banks will also get over the issues of impairment and so forth. And going into the future, we can see many of the listed banks performing as they used to do in the past. And hopefully that will also impact the general performance of the market. And
a driver narrowly escaped death Friday afternoon when his pickup truck veered off the beach road into the sea close to the La Palm Royal Beach Hotel here in Accra. Joy News' Latif Idris visited the chaotic accident scene and reported 2 occupants miraculously escaped unhurt.
It is unusual to have traffic situation on the beach road, but today the situation is different. As you can see, there's a huge pileup of vehicles parked on the road, and it's as a result of a tragedy that happened here about an hour ago. And I would like to show you exactly what transpired here. As you can see, the pickup truck has been trapped in there for almost an hour now. But as we speak, rescue operation is ended. The driver escaped unhurt and is going to tell us exactly what transpired here with him. So you're welcome to join us, sir.
Thank you.
You give us your name.
My name is Gibe Mate.
That is your, vehicle lodged in there. Can you tell us circumstances leading to it?
Yeah, it was accident. Yeah, and I think it's God that remove us from this accident. So I just want to give thanks to God. It's someone who crossed me, but I don't know what came over that person before he crossed me. I don't know what some people are planning for me. I don't know whether I'm going to die today or tomorrow. But all the same, I thank God for my life.
Did it run into your vehicle or you ran into it? Exactly what happened?
No, I'm a driver. I can't run from the vehicle.
No, did the vehicle run into your vehicle or you were the one who ran into his?
No, he's the one who crossed me. He crossed me and I don't want to hit somebody. So I just moved the CI to this side.
And looking at where your vehicle is lodged,
yeah.
And you look good.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, I have a God. Yeah, I know God and my God knows me.
Were you the only person in the car?
No, we are 2.
So where is the other person?
It is my brother.
So he was seated by you?
Yeah.
All right, so let me take your view on this whole thing. You were seated by him when it all happened. And what was running through your head? Did you try helping out in the process?
No. I'm not a driver, but I'm a footballer. So he protect me. He do everything for me. So.
But how do you feel right now?
No, nothing happened to me. So I have the grace of God. I'm alive. So I will thank my God.
You are alive, but are you planning to go to the hospital for any checkups? Because
no.
You never know what is going on inside you.
No. I don't want to go to hospital, but nothing has done to me, so I can't go to hospital.
After initial struggle, however, additional towing truck was brought in and helped to successfully pull out the vehicle from the sea, to the admiration of onlookers who cheered on.
Right, up next we bring you international news. And The Greater Accra Regional Minister has blamed failure of government sanitation interventions on the attitude of the citizenry. Colin Zado was speaking at a ceremony where UNICEF presented vehicles to the local government ministry.
UNICEF presented 11 vehicles to the local government ministry to support government's water and sanitation and hygiene programs. Country representative of UNICEF Ghana, Susan Namondo Nkongi, said the vehicles are to boost strategies to change the attitude of the citizenry. Collectively, these strategies are aiming to support the citizenry towards behavioral change.
With the very generous support from the government of Canada and the people of Canada and the government of the Netherlands and the people of the Netherlands, we've been able to work with government to help demonstrate some of the strategies that would help us reach our sanitation goals. And this includes the support for the rollout for the National Rural Sanitation Model and Strategy, complemented by piloting of sanitation marketing and social norm strategies, support for the development of national strategy to increase access to sanitation among the urban poor, and support for implementation of wash in school guidelines.
In a speech read on his behalf, the Minister of Local Government and Rural Development said the health of every nation is grounded on sound environmental sanitation practices, hence the need for Ghana to improve upon sanitation, especially if Ghana is to achieve the SDGs.
The health of every nation is grounded on sound environmental sanitation projects, practices. Unfortunately, in Ghana, we are challenged in ensuring and providing improved sanitation facilities. For instance, current access to improved sanitation, as already mentioned by our partners, is only 15%, while 58% of Ghanaians share latrines and 19% do open defecation. This is sad indeed.
Greater Accra Regional Minister speaking to Joy News was unhappy. Attitudes of some Ghanaians are making it difficult to win the fight against sanitation-related problems.
You are all aware that for some time now, at the presidential level, at the ministerial level, and even at the district level, we are all pushing and then telling Ghanaians that you can't just be moving around and then throwing refuse and then just dumping garbage wherever you find yourself. We have even given out some containers, so at least when you are even walking in town, or maybe you find yourself in the city and you have any paper or any refuse in your hands, don't just leave it on the street. Drop it into the garbage can, so that at least we can clean, we can just make our city very clean. But people still go ahead and then drop this kind of papers and garbage on the street. It is not the best. This is individual character. This is what we call indiscipline, and which is a problem that we have all identified as a problem for the nation.
All right, time for entertainment. Before Ms. G comes on, I'll give you two more of my favorite Mugabe quotes, and it's all right. It's interesting. Do you have your favorite one? I come to you in a bit, but this one says, "Dear sister, don't be deceived by a man who texts you, 'I miss you,' only when it's raining. You're not an umbrella." I think it's cool. And there's one other one. All right. If your girlfriend, boyfriend has not taken a picture with you before, just make that request and stop forcing photogrid to bring you together. You know, a lot of people go onto social media and they take photos of themselves and their boyfriends, put them together and to make it one complete picture.
Yeah.
Why don't you stand next to your boyfriend and take a selfie?
Anyway, but you know, my favorite Mugabe quote is that if you're a man and you keep falling in love with, you're a married man, you keep falling in love with a lady in school uniform, all you need to do is to get your wife a school uniform.
Okay, no, they said if you're a man and you keep falling in love with schoolgirls, Then get your wife a
school uniform. Yeah, I have that one. But Israel, is a big day for us here in Ghana today. For the first time in so many years, we've seen a first female or one of a female dancehall artists, being nominated for the BETs. It's great news. A lot of people have been talking about it. She has been trending since morning. But it will please you to know how she feels about the news.
When I received the news, and I wear glasses, so by the way, so I was on my phone and I woke up out of sleep at once because my phone was buzzing and it was going crazy. So I picked up my phone. All I was seeing was Miss BT. So I wasn't wearing my glasses, so I thought maybe it was just from last year's nomination. So I picked my glasses and I read two things properly, and I was like, wow, this is another one. I was screaming throughout the whole house. I don't know. It's just amazing. Yeah.
You're nominated for BET. It's a big deal for me. If it's not for you,
it's a big deal for me as well.
How do you feel? How when
right
you
now the excitement has made me really tired. I am drained. I am drained from all the jumping and shouting I did earlier today. So yes, that's how amazing this is.
What does this mean to you? You're nominated.
This just means I am just moving higher and higher and higher and higher. And this will all not be possible without my team, without my fans, those who love me, those who send me prayers on social media. I mean, it just means we are moving higher. Yeah, and our hard work is being recognized. So.
Right, so it's approaching the weekend. It's indeed the weekend, and certainly the weekend means that we have Ghana Premier League matches coming up. Gary Smith is here. He's going to be telling us about all of that and more.
Yep.
Hearts of Oak is going to play another game in an empty stadium.
Yes, that will be the last one.
Yeah. We won the first one, and we're likely to win this one too.
Yeah, it looks. No, it's not that likely because you are playing the team that are second in the league, Indiana Stars.
Yeah.
And they have won 5 in a row.
Yeah, but we have a Japanese-American coach, Kenichi.
Yes, and they've got a Romanian coach.
Yeah. But we're still going to beat them.
Good.
We're going to beat them.
So it's going to be the battle of the Romanian coach and the Japanese-American coach, but we'll do that a bit later. First of all, on the sports on Prime, I'm Gary L. Smith. We begin with athletics, and as you know, the Olympics begin in a couple of months, and athletes must focus on improving their performance rather than winning medals. That's according to the former boss of the Ghana Athletics Association, Sandy Osayajiman.
7 are qualified, that's good. But at what level competition? What times or distance are they thrown? Does it meet, even if you look at the top 10 listing of the world, do they fit in that criteria? If they do not fit in that criteria, then you can bet that they're not going to win any medals. It's good for them to go and compete and learn. If they're young enough, like I said, most people that win have been there before. If they're young enough, then it's good for them to go.
Okay.
Going forward, we've been saying all the time, Ghana has become a football country. Okay,
there's very little we can do about it.
And also the schools, the secondary schools, the 3-year program has hurt sports. You know, maybe, I don't know what can be done about that. I'm not in the policy making in the government or whatever. That has hurt sports. Competition, money for competition.
All right, and that's it for the bulletin. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com, where we have a number of stories there that may be of interest to you, that's likely to be of interest to you. One of them being USAC using election year to hold government to ransom. The Deputy Employment Minister Baba Jama says the strike by the judicial staff is an unfair attempt to put fear into a government that has an election to win. On that note, I wish you a good night and a great weekend.
Try News Prime